Once upon a time, in a bustling city surrounded by majestic mountains, there lived a young man named Caleb. Caleb had everything most people would desire: a good job, a comfortable home, and friends to share his time with. Yet, despite his seemingly perfect life, he felt a deep emptiness inside. No matter what he achieved or bought, the happiness it brought was fleeting. One day, frustrated and seeking answers, Caleb heard about an old wise man who lived atop the mountains. It was said that he possessed a secret to lasting happiness. Determined to find the answers he sought, Caleb packed his belongings and embarked on the arduous journey to meet him. When Caleb finally reached the wise man's hut, he was struck by how modest it was. The old man, dressed in simple robes, greeted Caleb with a warm smile. "What brings you here, young man?" asked the wise man. "I've heard you know the secret to happiness," Caleb replied. "I've tried everything, but nothing brings me true joy. Can you help me?" The wise man nodded. "I can help you, but first, you must do something for me. Down in the valley is a small, poor village. Go there and spend 1 week with the people. Observe their lives, talk to them, and help them in any way you can. When you return, I will tell you the secret." Though confused, Caleb agreed. He descended the mountain and arrived at the village, where he found crumbling houses, worn-out clothes, and people who barely had enough food to survive. Yet, to his astonishment, they seemed cheerful, even joyful. Over the week, Caleb helped where he could, carrying water, fixing roofs, and sharing meals with the villagers. He noticed how they laughed together, celebrated the smallest victories, and cared for one another. One evening, an elderly woman noticed his puzzled expression. "You seem troubled, young man," she said. "I don't understand," Caleb admitted. "You all have so little, yet you're happy. How is that possible?" The woman chuckled. "Happiness doesn't come from what we have. It comes from appreciating what we already hold dear: family, friends, and life itself." When the week ended, Caleb returned to the wise man, eager to share what he had learned. "I think I've discovered the secret to happiness," Caleb said. "It's gratitude, isn't it? The villagers taught me that." The wise man smiled but shook his head. "Gratitude is part of it, but not the whole truth. I need you to do one more thing." He handed Caleb a small jar filled with water. "Take this jar and walk down the same path you traveled before, but this time, don't spill a single drop of water." Confused but obedient, Caleb started his journey. He walked carefully, focusing entirely on the jar. He ignored the breathtaking views, the songs of the birds, and the cool mountain breeze. Hours later, he returned to the wise man with the jar intact. "I did it," Caleb exclaimed. The wise man nodded and asked, "And what did you notice on your journey?" Caleb frowned. "Nothing. I was so focused on the jar that I didn't pay attention to anything else." The wise man smiled knowingly. "That jar is like your worries and ambitions. When you focus too much on them, you miss the beauty and joy around you. The villagers taught you gratitude, but the true secret to happiness is balance. Appreciate what you have, work for what you desire, but never let your focus on one blind you to the other. Only when you live in the present can you truly be happy." As Caleb descended the mountain for the final time, the wise man's words resonated deeply within him. He realized that his life, like the jar, had been so consumed by ambition and worry that he had overlooked the treasures surrounding him. And so, with this story, we can learn that happiness is not a destination or something to be chased. It is found in the delicate balance of striving for our goals while cherishing the beauty of the present moment. It is about finding gratitude in what we already have and letting go of the fear that blinds us to life's simplest joys. When we pause to embrace the present, we discover that happiness was never far. It was always within reach, waiting to be noticed.